Hello everyone. This is calculating the annual percentage rates of ETFs, and I'm your host, Dr. B. This is episode number 4, and this is recorded on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. We're going to do the VanEck Semiconductor ETF, SMH. Yes, I get really excited about this one because this one has done incredibly well in the past 10 years. It's made up of only semiconductors, and semiconductors have done well lately in the news. You can see the growth starting in 2020, how much it went up, and then it dipped in 2022. That was because of COVID. And then since then, in the summer of 2022, it just has ballooned up ever since to a total of $121,612 based on a $10,000 investment from 10 years ago. This fund, or ETF, has been around since December 20th, 2011. For more information on the VanEck ETFs, you can go to the website at vaneck.com/US. I want you to see that the numbers will help your objective, and hopefully your objective will be the same as mine, and that's to grow your money as you are an adult and as you think about retirement, and of course in your retirement years. For those who don't know me, I'm a retired math teacher. I taught mathematics full-time in New Jersey for 25 years. I live in the Sarasota County area, and I currently am a substitute teacher, and I'm also a math tutor. Look what this has done over 10 years. 10 years, SMH has grown to an annual percentage rate of 28.03%. Now, over the life, it's been 27.17%. So, I'm going to help you figure out how to get to 28.03% exactly. Let's look at some periods first. The highest period happened recently in the last 12 months. As of July 10th, a year ago, the highest price is $281.34. The lowest price occurred on October 26, 2023, and that was $137.44. The best quarter happened about 4 years ago. It happened at 30.65%, and that was in the second quarter of 2020. Now, what happened then? COVID occurred and we really heard about it around February or March of 2020. And then the stock market tanked for a quarter. And then it shot up around May and June of that quarter. And then that's why you see a rise of 30.65%. And then what happened, the worst quarter was negative 24.4%, and that happened in the second quarter of 2022, and that was Russia's invasion of Ukraine. There we go. Let's see here. The holdings. Again, this is made up of only semiconductors. The top semiconductor you may have heard of is NVIDIA, and NVIDIA makes up 20% of SMH, followed by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, 12.85%. Many semiconductors are manufactured in Taiwan, followed by Broadcom, 7.9%, and then Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, around 5%. Texas Instruments, which is I use my Texas Instruments calculator to figure out a lot of my mathematical problems. Even this one coming up, and that's made up of 4.76%, makes up of semiconductor SMH. Now, I underline something here that you should know, that every ETF and every mutual fund has an expense ratio. Some of them are very small. For example, Vanguard offers mutual funds and ETFs that have very small expense ratios. SMH expense ratio is 0.35%. And we'll go over that at the very end. Total annual return so far this year is 47.38%. Now, past performance does not equal future results. So no one can say you will make 47% within a year. No one can ever promise you that. You just have to look at the numbers and you have to become educated. Total net assets, this is made up of about $22.3 billion. Now, let's take a look at the numbers. Unlike previously mentioned ETFs, SMH is compounded annually, and that happens in December. We're still going to use our same formula of present value is equal to P, your principal amount, your initial investment, times 1 plus R over N raised to the power of N times T. Once again, R stands for the annual percentage rate. N stands for number of times compounded in a year, but it's compounded once a year. It's a hint. And then T stands for time in years. So this N times T is going to be a little different number than the original number that we used previously. Here we go. This is calculate the annual percentage rate of SMH. Instead of covering all this up, I decided, well, I'm just going to explain one step at a time. So, our given formula of compound interest is present value is equal to your principal amount times 1 plus R divided by N, number times compounded year, all raised to a power of N times T, number times compounded year times T, time in years. Now, let's substitute step number 2 with some numbers. The present value of SMH based on a $10,000 investment from 10 years ago is $121,612, and that information was given to me from VanEck's website. Again, go to vaneck.com for more information. This is based on a $10,000 initial principal times 1 plus R. Now, it's compounded once a year, so you don't need this 1 here. I'm just going to put this in here for now. Raised to a power of 10. That means based on 10 years times compound once a year, 1 times 10 is 10. So we're not going to be using 40, which I used in my previous examples, because again, SMH is only compounded once a year, and that's in December. Now, we want to simplify this, so we're going to use division property of equality, and we're going to take $121,612, and we're going to divide it by $10,000, and we're going to get 12.1612. So you see 4 zeros and 10,000. Well, if you go at the end here and go back 1, 2, 3, 4 places, you get 12.1612. 10,000 divided by 10,000 goes away, and you're left with 1 plus R to the 10th power. Cleans this up nice and neatly. And then step number 4, we have to apply what's called the natural log. So we got to take the natural log of 12.1612, set equal to the natural log of 1 plus R, all raised to the 10th power. Now, application of natural log. If you take your TI 30 calculator, and if you just type in natural log, hit 12.1612, you can round this to 5 decimal places. 2.49825. After the 5 in your calculator, you'll see a 0. So 5 decimal places will be sufficient for this exercise. And then another application of natural log is this 10 is an exponent, now becomes a multiplier. So 10 times the natural log of 1 plus R. And then step number 6, you want to use division property of equality, and you want to take this 2.49825 and divide by 10. Since there's 1 0 in 10, you want to move this decimal point 1 to the left, and you get 0.249825, and that's equal to the natural log of 1 plus R. Okay. The next step now, you have to apply the inverse of the natural log with the natural exponent, E. So we're going to take E to your decimal of 0.249825. So E becomes your base, and 0.249825, which again was the natural log of 12.1612, and now becomes E to 0.249825. So you E both sides, and E to the natural log Since these are inverse of each other, they cancel each other out. So on your calculator, if you take e to this decimal, you will simplify and get a decimal of 1.2838. E and natural log cancel each other out, and you get 1 plus r. And then we want to get rid of this 1 here, so we use simple subtraction. Subtraction property of equality, 1.2838 minus 1.0000. You don't need all the zeros. That becomes 0.2838. Again, I'm not adding this. You're going to see my natural mistakes. That equals your rate. That's your rate. So now we want to take this rate and make it into a percentage. So when you change a decimal to a percentage, you multiply by 100. So your annual percentage rate is 28.38%. Now again, past performance does not indicate future results. You're not going to get over 10 years 28.38% on every investment that you do. But is this actual? Remember what it said earlier, or what I showed you earlier. Recall, the 10-year annual percentage rate was listed as 28.03%. But also recall this. The total expense ratio is 0.35%. Now, I want you to take 28.38 right now in your calculator or in paper and pencil and subtract it by 0.35. What happens when you do that? You get 28.03%, the actual 10-year annual percentage rate after expenses, and that's what's listed on VanEck's website. So once again, this is Dr. B. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is at BeNice29. Where does the Be Nice come from? Hey, that was my name in Camden, New Jersey, where I taught for many, many years. I'm proud to say that I taught in some tough areas in Camden, New Jersey. It helped me become a better person and hopefully a better teacher. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please subscribe to my channel at BeNice29. Take care, and I'll see you next month with another ETF. Stay strong.